Welcome back to Melanin Militant, everybody. First order of business, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And down in the description below will be links to where I got my black-owned apparel that I'm wearing today. So today I'm just going to give a review on the movie Jordan Peele's Us. I'm going to give all my thoughts and talk about all the different references and different meanings that I picked up in the movie and just give my overall feedback of what I thought the deeper meaning to the movie was. Before I start, I just want to say spoiler warning in case you haven't seen the movie yet. I probably will reveal some bigger plot points about the movie. So in case you haven't seen it yet, you might want to hold off because I'm really going to get into everything that I picked up in the movie as far as the references and double meanings and especially the plot twists that I think are in the movie. So again, if you have not seen it, you might want to turn this off. So with all that out the way, let's get started. So Jordan Peele's Us. Overall, I thought it was a great movie. I would probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. I know a lot of people initially when it came out were thinking, "Oh, it won't be as good as it won't be as good as Get Out. It probably won't do as well." Blah blah blah. I heard a lot of that, but in my opinion, I thought it was maybe not a better movie than Get Out, but it was definitely a lot deeper and more layered than Get Out. You can boil down the plot of Get Out really simple into a couple of words or maybe a few sentences. You could just say it's about race or racism or the gentrification of black bodies. But to me, this film was it was about classism and facing your inner demons and having empathy for others and the misfortunate and realizing that it could easily be you that is a tethered or a double or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, this was really bad for a horror movie as well," but it's not really a horror movie. It's really just a suspense film. It's a thriller. It's an edge of your seat type of movie. And I thought Jordan Peele did a brilliant job with kind of slowly building to this grand reveal at the end of the movie. Another reason why I liked it was that it was a black movie, but it didn't feel like a black movie because we got to see an all-black family in a genre that we don't typically see them in, in a scary, suspenseful horror kind of movie. We all know the black guy normally dies first, or the black person normally dies first. But with this one, it was a lot different. Like, Winston Duke's character was corny. He was, making stupid dad jokes, and he was a privileged guy who went to an Ivy League school. To me, he was kind of like a Carlton Banks. He wasn't like your typical street dude or whatever. And let's be real, he got his ass kicked by his tethered. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the typical big bad black dude. This movie represented black people as the antithesis of what we normally see them in many films. For me, there was definitely hints of a big switch or a big twist that was going to come in the movie because I'm pretty sure when the original teaser trailer came out for the movie, you see the young Adelaide, Lupita Nyong'o's character. You see her in the House of Mirrors. I'm pretty sure you see her, the tethered, you see Red grab out or reach out and grab her by the throat. You don't actually see her choke her out and then just switch with her, but you do see her grab her by the throat. So going into it, I kind of had that already in my mind that there was possibly a switch between the two characters that Lupita Nyong'o played. Also, Adelaide knew immediately what to do once everything happened. Once the tethered showed up, and she kind of knew what had to be done in order for her and her entire family to survive. Even at one point, she says to Winston Duke's character, she says to Gabe, like, "You're not in charge anymore," or something like that. So she kind of automatically knew what had to be done in this situation. Also, after the switch, she couldn't talk. Lupita Nyong'o's character couldn't talk, and that was kind of a sign of a switch to me. They show her as a kid, like her parents took her to therapy and they were saying she's having trouble speaking. That's because as a tethered, none of them spoke. So when Red made the switch with Adelaide, her trying to play this normal surface dwelling human being, she can't speak like everyone else. So that's why her parents ended up putting her into dance. And Red, once the tether showed up, Red was the only one that could speak. You could see that all the other tethers, all the other doubles, none of them could speak, but Red could. Even though she had a croak to her voice, she still could speak because she's actually a normal surface-dwelling human being. So just something simple like the golden shears that they all had, the scissors. If you notice, the shears are actually symmetrical, which kind of shows the duality between a surface dweller and a tether. It shows that it shows that they are one and the same. It shows that they are a reflection of one another. The hands across America, where you see all the people holding hands on the beach, it was a reference used by Red, the tether, the double. It was used by her from her memories that she had as a person living on the surface, but before she got switched. And the tethers, the doubles, were essentially supposed to represent the Americans. Like she says when they first show up to the house and they say, "Who are you?" and they say, "We're Americans." So using the hands across America was basically them trying to emulate what they believed Americans to be. And it also served as like their symbol for their movement, for their revolt against the surface dwelling people. Also, if you listen to the lyrics, if you look up the Hands Across America movement, which was back in like 1986, if you look up the song, the theme song to the whole charity thing, the lyrics say, when he look over there, he's my brother. When he laughs, I laugh. When he cries, I cry. This represents how the tether actually has control over their surface dweller, which if you've seen the movie, you realize one was controlling the other when Jason was started to walk backwards, and then his tether walked into the fire, and then when Lupita Nyong'o's character was on the surface dancing ballet, and then the double was underground in the tunnels dancing ballet. That shows the control over them. So the theme song of Hands Across America also plays a part in that, and is another just representation of what's going on in the movie. So when they say when he laughs, I laugh. When he cries, I cry. That shows the control that the double has over the surface-dwelling person. A big reference that I also thought was really cool in this movie was the usage of the Bible scripture, Jeremiah 11:11. I don't exactly know what that scripture is. I looked it up as soon as I got out the movie, but I forgot what it was. But just speaking in general, the book of Jeremiah speaks of the wrath of God in this day of reckoning that is coming, and that's similar to the Double's uprising. They use Red, Lupita Nyong'o's character. They use Red as the leader They used her as the leader for their revolt because she was an actual normal human being. So they knew she could be the leader that they needed because she knew what the surface world was like since she had been switched from it. So their uprising and their revolt was very similar to this day of reckoning, which is why Jeremiah 11:11 was used in the movie. And the homeless man was holding it on his cardboard sign on the boardwalk. And when he's loaded into the ambulance, the number on the ambulance is actually 1111. When Gabe is watching a game, the score of the game on the TV is 11-11. And the time on the clock in Jason's room when the Double's family shows up is 11:11. And the four straight lines of the time 11:11 also represent the four family members standing, symmetrical in the driveway as they held hands before they came in and attacked the family. To me, the real twist is that Jason is actually a tether, and that's just my belief, and I believe that for a number of reasons. So in the beginning, when the tethered family shows up, and I forget who says it, somebody in his family says, "Who are you?" Or who are they? And then Jason says, "It's us." So he kind of was aware of what was going on, just like how his mom, Adelaide, knew what was going on and how she knew what to do throughout the entire movie. Also, he on the beach scene when the sisters they destroyed his sand, whatever he was building in the sand. They asked, was it a sand castle? He says no, they were sand tunnels. Now, underground tunnels is where the tethered were living. So, it's kind of like he's recreating where he came from, you know what I mean? Because who makes sand tunnels on a beach? Also, in the car when I Got Five on it is playing, and his mom tells him to start snapping. They're snapping off rhythm, so his mom like is showing him how to snap to the beat, but she's off rhythm, and then he goes right along with it as if he believes that to be the right rhythm, and he believes that to be correct. It's because Adelaide isn't from the surface world, so she can't really get on rhythm like anybody else could. And Jason, not being of the surface world, also just goes along with what his mom is showing him. So they're both snapping off rhythm to I Got Five on it. He also forgot how to use the little sparkler magic trick toy thing that he had, and he said he lost it on a previous trip. So I believe that's when he got switched, and that's why this Jason doesn't know how to use the sparkler toy. And the tethered Jason is the one that actually has the burn marks across his face. So the kid is like a bit of a pyromaniac, and then that's why the switched Jason doesn't actually know how to use that toy. But the tethered Jason does, and that's how he ended up burning himself from using the sparkler toy. He didn't look to be too afraid of the tethered homeless man on the beach when he saw him standing there in the trench coat, dripping blood. He's standing there kind of frozen, but he doesn't seem to be scared. If anything, he's kind of like maybe realizing that the tethered are coming back up from underneath the tunnels. He's kind of realizing that guy is a tether, because he knows that he is as well, but he doesn't seem afraid of him. So that's another reason why I thought that he's possibly a tether. And lastly, probably the most obvious and probably the first thing that made me realize that he was possibly a tether was the final scene when they're in the car and everything is seemingly over, and he just kind of looks at his mom. He gives her this stare, kind of like, I think that you might be a tether. Like, he kind of gives her this funky look, like he thinks he knows something, but he's just not sure. And he also gave her that look when the mom had to run back into the house to get the car keys, and then one of the daughter tether girls got back up after being attacked. She got back up, and then Adelaide had to kill her, and Jason saw his mom kill her. So again, it was one of the moments where he's just kind of realizing, like, wait, something's not right here. He felt like he knew something, but he just wasn't sure. But as the movie went along, more things started to happen to kind of reaffirm for him that his mom is a tether. As far as the overall theme for this movie, I've kind of already said it in the opening of this episode, but it's pretty much that you need to start seeing yourself in other people, because it could easily be you that's on the other side, that's on the flip side of a situation. You should start being a lot more empathetic for the less fortunate, and start appreciating what you have, because that could easily be you that is in a bad situation. Like, if you notice in the beginning when the family first gets to the beach house, Gabe is saying to Adelaide that the father of the white family that got killed, he's saying to Adelaide about them, oh, he got that big yacht just to piss me off and just to show me up. So there's like a little bit of classism, capitalism going on there, where he's worried about materialistic things, and so that's just kind of a sign that you should be grateful for what you have and not worrying about what the next person has, because it could easily be you that isn't as fortunate as everyone else. I also think that the title Us, and actually Jordan Peele has kind of confirmed this, that the title Us has a duality to it as well, because Us could also stand for US, as in United States. So to me, the movie and the title is also a bit of a message to all of America that we got to start treating the less fortunate better, and just start treating everybody a lot better, because those less fortunate and those people who don't have as much and those people who aren't treated as well, they could possibly band together and revolt and rise against the system or the powers that be, whatever you want to call it. So I also think that is one of the other deeper multi-layered meanings to the entire film. So that's it for today. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that I'm gonna think of once I go back and watch all of this footage, and as I'm re-editing this episode. I know some of the things are going to pop in my head, some other deeper meanings and references and things like that. And I'm probably going to go see this movie again, just because when I left, I did have questions, but then as I started to look some stuff up, just out of just general curiosity and to do this episode, I got my questions answered. So now I want to go back and watch that, and then I won't have any questions answered. I can just kind of let go and just take the movie in its entirety. But yeah, again, I thought it was a dope movie. I'm glad it did so well in the box office. I think it did like 70 or 80 million, somewhere in between there, in the first opening weekend. I definitely think there could be a prequel or sequel to this, because one question that I had was like, once all the tethered were out of the tunnels and then they were all, holding hands, like across the beach and whatnot, and they were supposed to connect all across the world. I'm thinking like, all right, they just killed a ton of people, so where they gonna go now? So there's things left to be answered that Jordan Peele could definitely do, and I think he's creative enough to answer those things. I urge everybody to go see this movie. I can't wait to get some more from Jordan Peele. Whatever he's working on next, I'm gonna be first in line to go see it. As always, guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And again, the black-owned apparel that I'm wearing, my hat and shirt, will be in the description down below. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.